Hello, one and all. Good evening. Carson Meredith with you here on this Sunday night. Just a little toasty out there, isn't it? Man, oh man. Hottest day of the year so far, and it wasn't even close. And it's just the beginning, my friends. Hope you all are doing well on this Father's Day night. Happy Father's Day to all the dads of Wave Country, myself, my dad included. Pet dads, too. Soon-to-be dads, new dads, granddads, uncles. Hope you all had a wonderful day. Hopefully you all stayed cool. 95 is how hot it got in Louisville today. I'll be honest with you, it was a tick cooler than I forecast. We were thinking around 96, 97 today, 95. What difference does it make at that point, right? It was hot. And that trend is going to continue this week. However, we do have some rain chances to talk about. Not a lot at all. But we do have a few downpours tonight that we're going to talk about. And we've also got a few storms on the table for Monday. We'll dive into that. And of course, we'll talk about this heat. As always, if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, or concerns, let me know. Let's go through some of those comments, shall we? Good evening, Carson, says Weather Geek. Cooking chili on the sidewalk. Yeah, you probably could. You guys ever done the experiment where you try to cook, I don't know, cookies or eggs or things like that, like on your dashboard or on the concrete? It'd be an interesting experiment today, that's for sure. I don't know if they would get fully cooked, but it'd be pretty close, I'm sure. So yeah, definitely a toasty one out there, Weather Geek. Sean says hello from Taylorsville tonight. Good, now in Missouri, and it is very hot and very humid. Yeah, you think it's hot in Wave Country. It's even worse out west of us, out near Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, Iowa, so on and so forth. So yes, believe it or not, it could be worse. Angela says, good evening. Hope all is well in your world, Angela. Julie's watching from Madison, Indiana. Luke says, good evening. Going to be warm all week. Not ready for it. I'm with you, Luke. It's like I said last night. We posted on our Wave Weather Facebook page Friday afternoon that it was 100 days till fall. And a lot of people got bent out of shape that we posted that. Oh, you're skipping summer, blah, 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 blah. No, we're not. We're all just trying to be positive, looking ahead to when it may finally cool down a little bit. But there's not much of a cool down on the way anytime soon. Sean says, we need the rain. Cool us down, please. Yeah, we've got some rain to talk about tonight. Very, very, very isolated tonight. Maybe a little better chance on Monday, but that's about it for the week ahead. It's not going to cool us down much. In fact, as I've looked over the data this evening, we may be teetering on alert day heat for the end of the week. And I'll explain that here in just a few minutes. Randy's watching an 0-10. Hope all's well in Owen County tonight, Randy. Shonda says, hey, it was sticky outside today. Yeah, if you got up early this morning, it was still comfortable out there. It wasn't too humid, but man, oh man, that humidity really built in as the day went on, and it just feels nasty out there, doesn't it? Goodness gracious. So hopefully everybody stayed cool and staying hydrated too. Those are both going to be very important in the days to come. Let's get you outside to downtown Louisville tonight. Hey, at least it's, well, I was going to say at least it's sunny, but of course the sun is part of the reason why it's so hot, right? And you can see just that hazy, murky-looking sky has arrived. And this is going to be the story for much of the week ahead. We may have some clouds, though, that can help us out by Tuesday. I'll explain that, too, here in a few minutes. Current temperature here in Louisville is 93 toasty degrees. We mentioned we got up to 95 at the airport today. Hottest day of the year so far. No record, by the way. The record for today is 99, so we fell short of that, as expected. It is a little breezy out there, so that kind of helps some. Not a lot, but we'll take what we can get. Actually, last check at the airport had a gust around 18 miles per hour. We saw that heat index, or that feels like temperature, peak around 100 today. Looks like there's a I can't tell if that's a wasp or what on that SkyTrack camera in the background. Anyway, it still feels like 96 this evening, though. So if you're heading out for a Sunday evening dinner with Dad, make sure you're still taking it easy out there. Maybe let the car warm warm up the car so you can cool it down inside the car before you head out this evening. So we mentioned those dew points have climbed quickly today. They were in the low 50s this morning, so it was still nice and comfortable. Now we're back into that soupy kind of territory with that dew point at 67. A lot of blue skies across wave country tonight. Upper 80s. Wow, look at that. 88, the popular number. Bullitt County, Oldham County, Carroll County, and Taylor County all checking in at 88. Notice in Taylor County, bottom right corner, down near Campbellsville, you guys are seeing a little more cloud cover. And that's kind of blow off or debris cloud cover from a thunderstorm near Bowling Green that we're keeping an eye on. And I'll show you that right now. There's radar. 99% of wave country is dry, okay? And I expect at least 90% of wave country to stay dry all evening. But there's just enough moisture, just enough instability across our southern tier where we can't rule out a few of these thunderstorms sneaking in to wave country over the next hour or two. Now, we've got about an hour and a half left of sunlight, and once the sun goes down, that'll kind of cool things off a little bit, wipe out that fuel, and we should see these downpours start to fizzle. But we're still going to watch these as the evening goes on, just in case they want to spit off some gusty wind. I don't expect widespread severe weather tonight, but if you're watching us, let's say along and south of the Parkway, so Litchfield, Caneyville, E-Town, Hodgenville, even up to Bardstown, Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia. If you live anywhere near those burgs, you may have a quick heavy downpour this evening. Let's zoom in on that storm near Bowling Green I was talking about. Weather Service is watching it right now for very heavy rain, of course, and maybe some wind gust around 30 to 40 miles per hour. In fact, that's what I'm looking at on my phone here, a different radar source. Just making sure they don't issue any severe thunderstorm warnings, and they haven't so far. But they're still watching it for 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and that's probably going to be the main concern with these storms, if they can sneak into wave country this evening, is about 40-mile-per-hour gusts and, of course, very heavy rain. So let's see. This storm is just north of Bowling Green. There's BG right there, my old stomping grounds down at Western Kentucky University. Great school. Great school. If you have any kiddos that are getting ready to make that jump to college, give WKU a look. Highly recommend. Just to the north of Bowling Green, there's that heavier thunderstorm. It's in Edmonson County now, which is just outside of wave country. Down near Mammoth Cave, Brownsville, Calebit Springs, those little communities down there in Edmonson County, seeing some very heavy rain. The lightning has backed off on this storm in the last 15 to 30 minutes. So in general, it's weakening, but heads up if you're in Hart County in particular. So Mumfordville, Horse Cave, keep an eye on this. You're probably seeing some darker clouds on the horizon. The storm's moving off to the east and northeast. Let me get a quick track on it for you. It's also a slow-moving storm. So, you know, if it doesn't weaken quick enough, we may have some ponding on the roads as the storm moves through. So just heads up for that in Hart County. Here's a little track I'll do here as the storm rolls through. So Mumfordville, we are looking maybe in the next half hour, seeing some heavy rain in Mumfordville around 7:14. Hardyville, 7:32 Central Time. Maybe if it holds on long enough, could get into southern LaRue County near Buffalo and Magnolia. That would be closer to 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So in about 45 minutes to an hour. We'll keep an eye on this storm. And there may be additional storms that develop in this same general area, near or north of Bowling Green through sunset. And the reason why, as I pan radar down just a little bit, look real closely here. Let's kind of do a little radar lesson, shall we? See that narrow green line right there near Woodbury? That's an outflow boundary. So we had some decent storms down in Tennessee this afternoon. And a lot of times this time of year, those storms, when they rain themselves out, they kind of give you a push of wind that may not be severe, but still a push of wind that goes to the ground. And that's an outflow boundary, a gust front. And those gust fronts can travel a decent way. And as they move away from their original storm, right, they can set off additional new storms. So that's kind of what we're seeing tonight. That storm in Edmonson County near Mammoth Cave that was set off by this outflow boundary. And if you look closely down near little Lewisburg, Kentucky, another tiny little downpour trying to get going. So we'll keep an eye on this boundary as the evening progresses. Again, I'm not worried about severe weather, everywhere. In fact, a lot of you stay dry. But central, southern Kentucky, south of the parkways, we'll watch for a few more thunderstorms that may try to sneak in. Primary issue would be heavy rain, lightning, and perhaps some gusty winds. Maybe one severe thunderstorm warning this evening. Nothing more than that. But still, keep an eye on the skies. Keep an eye on that Wave Weather app as well. All right, comments we go. I've been rambling too much. Dallas is on YouTube. He says, I know I've seen where the NWS Louisville issues heat advisories for over a 105 heat index. Talking about maybe 95 should be the criteria. Well, that's a fair point, Dallas. But keep in mind, we get that heat index number at 95 degrees a lot during the summer months, okay? So, the Weather Service wants to focus on those really high impact hot days, right? So that's why they don't want to issue heat advisories every single day. I mean, goodness gracious, if we did have a heat index around 95 for a heat advisory, we'd have heat advisories every day over this stretch. So fair point, but the heat advisory criteria at 105 is good. Now, speaking of, I don't see any days at this point where we get to that 105 number. So I don't really see heat advisory potential at the moment. That could still change, of course, but even so, we can still see those heat index numbers near 100, like we did today and like we will tomorrow. Julie asks, are we in a drought? We are not yet, but I tell you what, those front yards and backyards are getting a little dry, a little crunchy. So we'll get another drought update on Thursday of this week, and I would not be surprised if maybe we're not in a drought per se, like an official drought, but the drought monitor folks say, hey, it's starting to get really dry in Kentucky and Indiana. So right now, no drought, but it's not looking good, I'm afraid. Snickerdoodle on YouTube asks, anything heading towards Glasgow? Let's take a look, shall we? Where's little Glasgow? Just outside of Wave Country. There it is. So that storm that I was talking about near Mammoth Cave, it is not going to be an issue for Glasgow. There it is. It's going to go that way into Hart, maybe LaRue County. So that's not a problem for Glasgow, but more of these little downpours are trying to get going out near Russellville, Lewisburg as well. Let me clear that. So there's still the chance for some downpours in Glasgow through about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. And then after that point, most of this stuff should start to fizzle out. So hope that answers your question. Shonda says, what are things looking like for Friday and Saturday? Dry in all likelihood, but also very hot. In fact, I think Thursday through Saturday will be the most intense heat that we see with this heat wave. And it's those days in particular that I'm a little bit concerned about getting to alert day criteria. Not for the heat index necessarily, but maybe for those actual temperatures near 100. It's not in our forecast yet, but it's definitely looking very, very hot by the end of the week. And we'll discuss that here in a minute. Let me show you futurecast for those downpours to our south this evening. This is about an hour from now at 8:30. This is the HER model, the high resolution rapid refresh model. You notice it shows the showers still around, mainly south of the parkways, but in general, they're going to start to weaken. And once we lose that heat of the day, yes, there could still be a stray shower, but I do think a lot of this stuff will start to fizzle out as the evening goes on. Most of us will stay dry overnight just to be on the safe side. We'll keep a 10% chance for a random tiny little shower just in case. But again, a lot of us look dry this evening and overnight tonight. Now, by Monday afternoon, we'll start to see those rain chances creep up again. And that would be a downpour chance for all of Wave Country tomorrow. And that's our next topic here tonight. 74 is our forecast low. It is a classic warm, soupy, muggy, miserable night. Just going to be honest with you. Not much relief in the heat at all, especially in the city. And we're going to keep these highs in the mid 90s for all week and those lows in the mid 70s. Tomorrow is 95 to be exact. Hot and humid, of course, with that 20% chance for a few afternoon thunderstorms. Tomorrow is a quintessential summer day in the Ohio Valley. It's hot, it's humid, and we're going to have a few pop-up storms. Classic summer day is on tap for tomorrow. When we look at the heat index potential tomorrow afternoon, virtually a carbon copy of today with those actual temps in the mid 90s. And when you factor in that humidity, it's not, air you can wear humidity where those dew points are way up into the 70s, but it's humid enough to where we could have those feels like temperatures as hot as 100 in wave country tomorrow. So again, if you're going to be outside at any point for any length of time, just take it easy, okay? If at all possible, get somewhere indoors where there's good AC. You can get in the shade, but like I said last night, this is the kind of heat wave where the shade really doesn't give you much relief. It's still hot in the shade, right? Obviously, drink lots of water too, especially if you're going to be working outside for long periods of time. And if you can, hold off on work outside until later in the evening, or maybe get it done early in the morning. Try to avoid that main heat during the afternoon. Shonda also chiming in, notice the grass was not so green. Yeah, I'm noticing the same thing. And that trend is definitely going to continue. Shonda also says the mosquitoes will love this weather. Boy, won't they? Yippee. So that's cicadas we have to worry about around here. It's mosquitoes, that is for sure. Let's look at those rain chances for Monday. I debated on bumping them up to 30% tonight. I decided to hold off because a lot of us will stay dry tomorrow. There may be certain corridors in wave country where there is higher coverage of storms. At the same time, there's going to be corridors where you don't see a drop. And it's obviously very difficult, especially this time of year, to nail down where those little zones might wind up. So we're just going to go 20% chance for isolated storms across all of wave country, starting around lunchtime tomorrow and going through the afternoon and into the evening. And then just like tonight, those downpours will fizzle out after sunset. And quite honestly, that's the only good rain chance we have until maybe next weekend. So hopefully the rain lottery is on your side as we go through the day on Monday. Oh, Angela brings up a good point here on Facebook. I've said it all weekend. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to say it all summer. Don't forget about pets, outside pets especially, like Angela talks about. But any of our furry friends, remember, put your hand on the concrete or asphalt. If it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for your pet's paws. All right? Try to get those walks done early in the day or later in the evening. Snickerdoodle on YouTube, hearing thunder. I assume you're down near Glasgow since you were asking about it earlier. Yeah, I'll give you another check of that storm here before we sign off tonight. Still not severe. I'm watching it here behind the scenes, but we'll keep an eye on it. All right, let's talk about that storm chance again for tomorrow. So we mentioned it's 20% across the board. 10 a.m. on Futurecast, dry. Clouds, but dry. Look at those temperatures, though, tomorrow morning, mid-80s. Golly, not fun. As the day goes on, a few downpours popping up. And like I mentioned, there's going to be some zones that see more rain than others. So one of those zones that I'm kind of noticing tonight, looking over the data, is southern Indiana. Models are trying to give a little better coverage of storms in southern Indiana versus, say, the I-65 corridor, which, as you can see, around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow doesn't have much of anything. And how quickly these storms develop tomorrow, as well as how many storms in total develop, could affect your high temperatures. So right now we're going to say mid-90s 93, 94, 95. But you see those storms earlier in the day, or you see 2 or 3 storms, you might be able to keep those highs in the upper 80s to low 90s. But look, it's going to be a hot and humid day tomorrow, no matter what. Evening progresses. This is 6 o'clock. You get the idea. These random popcorn storms are still around. Main threats, just like tonight, would be heavy rain, gusty wind, lightning, with perhaps a couple of these storms briefly going severe. Can't entirely rule that out. You never really can rule that out in the summer months, but we're not looking at a widespread severe weather outbreak whatsoever. Fast forward through the evening, 8 o'clock, maybe some storms still lingering. And then as the sun goes down, we start to calm things down. Left with just a few stray showers by 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And then Tuesday is looking mostly dry. And it's also looking mostly cloudy, which could help to at least take the edge off that heat. It won't feel quite as intense with Tuesday's cloud cover. But in general, that's the story. It is going to stay hot all week long. And I'm not a fan of it. I know a lot of people are. But this is a little too much for me. There's the TED Day. 95 tomorrow. Now, we mentioned with that cloud cover on Tuesday, while it's still going to be hot, it may help to make things not feel as intensely hot. It may help to keep the heat index in check if we see that cloud cover. Kind of an hourly breakdown of that cloud cover. You notice we'll have mostly cloudy skies for a good chunk of the day. There might be some times, especially in the early afternoon, where we get a little more sun in the mix. But in general, we'll keep things fairly overcast on Tuesday, which may work in our favor. We'll hope for it, right? Wednesday, Juneteenth, the newest holiday here in the U.S. If you got the day off on Wednesday, 95. Hot, humid, no rain chance, though. This high pressure, this heat dome that's going to be settling in over the East Coast this week, it's so strong, it's going to keep any moisture, any significant moisture off to our west. So we're really not going to see much in the way of pop-up storms once we get past tomorrow. In fact, our forecast is totally dry Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's why Thursday and Friday in particular look to be the hottest days right now. Our current forecast is 97, but I continue to see numerous forecast models that are wanting to push us up towards 99, maybe 100 for those high temperatures by week's end. We'll keep an eye on it. I'm not ready to go there just yet, but the most intense heat will certainly be Thursday, Friday, maybe into Saturday. Those are the 3 days where you really need to be careful as you're outside. You got to be careful every day this week, but if you made me nail down the worst days for the heat, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then we get to next Sunday. So 1 week from today, there is a system that we'll likely be watching around that time. Maybe a cold front, perhaps. A weak one, but still a cold front that could bring us higher chances for showers and storms. The severe weather risk looks low for now with that system, but it may put an end to the mid-90s as it moves through. You notice the last couple of days here on the 10-day are in the low 90s. We'll take it, right? Especially as after how hot this week is going to be. So that's the next big system we're watching. Yes, we've got a few downpours tonight in southern Kentucky. Yes, we could have a few storms around everywhere tomorrow afternoon, but it's next Sunday and next Monday, so 7 and 8 days from now, that we may have a decent shot for more showers and storms that could finally put an end to this intense heat. Still a lot of timing uncertainties we got to work through, but in general, we'll watch that time frame around a week from now for things to get a little active again. So there you go. Hot and humid, guys. That is it. But, at least we don't have significant severe weather to talk about, right? Yeah, we could have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings with these pop-up storms, but no huge tornado outbreaks in the future right now. That's a good thing, right? Angela sums up my thoughts quite well. It's too early for 100-degree days. Yuck. Bleh. Yeah. By the way, since a lot of you were asking last night, I looked up the climate data for the last time we hit 100 degrees in wave country, and it was in 2022. The last time we hit 100 here in Louisville. We only got up to 99 last summer. We did hit 100 a couple of days in 2022, one of which was in June. So it's not unheard of, guys, as we all know, to get close to that century mark this time of year, but it doesn't make it any better, right? Today was our third day with highs in the 90s this year, and kind of running a little bit slow. We're going to make up for it this week ahead. That is for sure. Brandon chiming in on Facebook. Good evening. Hope all's well, my man. Do you have any cooler weather? Do we have any cooler weather? Not really. I wish. What is it? 98 days till fall, right? We're watching that system, like I said, for next Sunday and Monday. Could bring us higher storm chances and may cool us down into the low 90s instead of the mid 90s. That's about as good as I can give you for a cool down at this stage of the game, Brandon. So hang in there. Hopefully those ACs are tuned up and ready to go. Hopefully you don't have to be outside for long periods of time. Of course, a lot of folks work outside, so just make sure you stay careful and stay vigilant. If your body's telling you to slow down, get inside, get cool, right? Before we sign off, let me go back to radar. I'll show you these downpours down in southern Kentucky again. There we go. And it looks like just since we've been talking, this storm in Edmonson County has weakened quite a bit. Which is good. Still some rain moving into Hart County as we speak. So if you're west of Mumfordville, let's say towards Northtown, the B community, Big Windy, Forestville, you guys are seeing some lighter raindrops at this point. There could still be some heavier downpours in the mix, but this storm has lost pretty much all of its lightning. And the gusty wind core has also weakened considerably here in the last 15 to 20 minutes. It definitely has, or at least is starting to rain itself out. Looks like we got a few more downpours developing down near Russellville, Kentucky, Logan County. I got many very good friends of mine from college that are from Logan County. I know this area quite well. Russellville, Lewisburg, close to Auburn, Kentucky. Still have a few of those downpours we'll watch. I don't expect those to get into wave country this evening, but we'll keep an eye on it. And this is the main zone I'm going to be watching all evening, is south of the parkways for these hit and miss storms. Some could have heavy rain, lightning, and wind. But for most of us, we are going to stay nice and quiet, albeit very warm and muggy, for the rest of your Sunday night. Brandon's got a great question here. Are you ready for high school football? Yes, I am. I'm not ready for just high school football. I'm ready for college. I'm ready for the pros. Let's go. Let's get to the fall so we can watch a lot of football. That's the number one sign for me that it's fall, is football, and the cooler weather too. So yeah, it'll be here before we know it, right? I think the pros preseason starts in August, month and a half, which is crazy. But until then, we are stuck with the heat. Let's pop up that 10-day one more time. Again, mid 90s for tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. Heat index numbers near 100 for tomorrow in particular. We'll have that chance for a few storms Monday afternoon with rain, heavy rain, wind, and lightning. And then much of the rest of the week looks dry, with the worst of the heat expected Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the mid to upper 90s, maybe knocking on the door of 100 degrees. So take it easy as you're out and about this week. Stay hydrated. Brian Good will be on Sunrise tomorrow morning, filling in for Tawana. He's going to be on Sunrise several days this week, so make sure you tune into him tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if he'll do the blog or not. He's probably asleep right now. Hopefully he is. But he will be in here tomorrow morning. Of course, I'll be on the TV side of things coming up tonight on Wave News at 11, talking more about this heat and that chance for a few storms tomorrow. That's going to do it for tonight. Again, happy Father's Day to all the dads of Wave Country. Hope you had a great day. Make sure you take it easy outside this week as this heat settles in. Drink lots of water and take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of those furry friends as well. I'll see you on the TV side of things tonight at 11. Until then, have a great night, everybody.